Hello and welcome back to my channel. We are here for another monthly matcha and we are going to cover May 2025. If you're new here, welcome. My name's Shayla. I'm a writer currently working on a psychological horror and I am hoping to traditionally publish. I am currently on draft 4 of Project Marbles and I just sent it off to beta readers, so more on that in a little bit. The monthly matcha is basically just a little coffee chat, except for I'm a matcha girly, so I've got my matcha ready to go. And we're gonna just discuss what's been going on in my life for the month of May in regards to writing, reading, and a couple of life updates. So like I said, I've got my matcha. I have a blackberry cold foam on top that I made myself. So you grab your favorite bevy and sit back, let's have a chat. The first area we're gonna cover is writing, so let's dive in. It wasn't that long ago that we caught up for April's kind of like summary wrap up because I was very behind in posting April's monthly matcha. So I have a little bit of an update, but not too much. So in regards to my manuscript, Project Marbles is what I'm using as just like the title for now. I'll announce the official working title at some point in a future video. I have an idea for what I want to do with that and we will get there. So the update I have for Project Marbles is that I finally completed draft 4. I went through my first round of beta edits and kind of like changed a couple of things around that I had noticed as well, but I added 2 new chapters and also clarified some things at the beginning of the story. There's 2 main houses in my story, and both betas in my first round of beta edits suggested clarifying it a bit, and then one of my betas suggested to call one the house and call the other one the cabin. And so I went through and made those changes. With those added chapters, my word count went up to 89,421 words according to Scrivener. When I exported it as a Word document, you know, I need a check word. I'm gonna find it and add it somewhere on the screen here. But I downloaded it on to Google Docs because I'm sending it off to another round of betas, and Google Docs said it was 89,123. So we're somewhere in the 89,000 realm, and I think that's a really good place to have the story for sending off to agent. If I can get it to 90,000, that'll be good, but I'll be happy enough with 89,000. I sent off draft 4 to my next round of betas a couple days ago, so at the very end of May, and I this time sent it off to 5 beta readers, which is a little bit much for me, but 2 of the beta readers this round are 2 writers that I had asked for the first round, but with their schedule at the time, they couldn't fit in reading another manuscript. So they asked if they could join the next round. So I would have had 4 writers and 3 readers anyway. So it would have been 4 and 3, which is a little bit better spread out, but it just worked out that way. So I had 2 last time and I had 5 this time. And that being said, 2 of them are writers and 3 of them are readers. So I am still looking for that writer feedback, which is going to be a little bit different. Of course, I will take their notes and apply them as I see fit. But I wanted for the second round to have more of a reader reaction. So I asked friends who are strictly readers, and they read for strictly entertainment purposes, and I wanted to hear what they had to say about the story from the edits I made from my writer round of beta reading. I am hoping after this round of beta reading, I can take their feedback and apply it, take what resonates, leave what doesn't, and get a 5th and final draft for Project Marbles. Once that happens, I will be sending off the manuscript, sample pages rather, to agents and dive headfirst into the query trenches. I'm gonna have another video coming soon about what I'm doing in the meantime. This is supposed to be a wrap-up video anyways, so that is what happened in May. That being said, let's move on to reading. You know, of course, with the reading section, I will be recording voice memos so I can add this section on to my Substack's monthly book report. My Substack is shaylaappleby.substack.com. I will link it in the description. The newsletter is called Words and Stuff if you want to check that out. So, as no surprise to anyone, I read 2 books in the month of May. The first book that I read in May, following my palette cleanser Now or Never, the Stephanie Plum novel by Janet Ivanovich that I talked about in last month's Monthly Matcha. The book was Home Before Dark by Riley Sager. This book was already on my radar as a comp for my current work in progress, Project Marbles, and I also love Riley Sager, so it had been sitting on my TBR list for quite some time. And when I received beta feedback from beta reading round 1, one of my writer friends actually noted this in her comments on the Google Doc, and then I think she added it in her edit letter that she sent me over email. So I was like, yeah, I need to read this. I need to read it now, because when I get ready to write my query letter, I need to know what elements to add from it to comp to Project Marbles. So this book is about a woman whose father just died, and he left her a house that they used to live in when she was like very little. I can't remember exactly how old she was. Her mom or her father lived in this house, and the parents bought it knowing something strange had happened in the house, but didn't get all of the details when they just essentially said and bought it. So they moved in, and of course, haunted shenanigans ensue. You know, that is one of my favorite phrases to say. Well, maybe you didn't know, but now you do. Anyways, her parents got divorced somewhere along the lines, and then her dad had written a book about their experience in the house, which is Baneberry Hall. And so the family got really famous for this house. She was always pegged as like the weird girl, and she didn't really fit in, and she always had questions about what really happened in the house. Oh, hello. You're on camera. Even on her father's deathbed, he would not answer her or like give her a straight answer. So after he dies, that's when she finds out that he still owned the house and he left it to her. So our main character, Maggie, she goes back to the house and says she's gonna renovate it. Her mother, who's now remarried, is like traveling somewhere abroad and offers to just buy it from her if she promises not to go back. But too late, she's already gone back. And again, weird haunted shenanigans ensue. So yeah, we find out what happened. It is a dual POV. It's alternating chapters between Maggie and her father, Ewan, of what happened in the past. Now, Ewan's POV is the book that he wrote. So Maggie's POV is, of course, trying to figure out if his recollection was true. So it's a little trippy, and it also gives that element of the unreliable narrator, and I love that personally so much. So I don't know, this book is really good. Riley Sager, I have not read a book of his yet that I don't like, so I highly recommend this one. The second and last book that I read in May was Victorian Psycho by Virginia Fato. Y'all, this book, okay, first of all, it's pretty thin, it's pretty small, but she is perfection. She's so good. Okay, I am writing a psychological horror. I typically like to read psychological horrors. This is very gory, so I am gonna give you that warning. If you are not a gory girly, she might not be for you. I am not a gory girly, and I will insert a picture of what my face looked like most of the time I was reading this book. Okay. But I couldn't stop reading. So don't let it deter you. You can kind of skip through those parts if you so choose. But, I mean, no, I'm not going to say that. Almost just did a major spoiler, and that would have not been very nice.
Well, that wouldn't be too polite now, would it, Miss Annie?
Okay, so anyways, I mean, it is essentially what you think it is. It is Victorian times, and the main character is a psychopath. Winifred is our main character. She's a governess. She goes to this house and is in charge of the 2 children that live there. It is a prominent man and wife who own the estate. They're very fancy people, and the husband, I can't remember his name, but honestly, as the man, that's not super important. Especially for this book. It's on theme that I can't remember his name. Okay, so he's very enthralled with Winifred, and he allows her to eat with them, conversate with them. She's actually a person and not just a worker. That irritates his wife to no end. Yeah, so that's the whole thing. The children are snotty, but again, Winifred is also a psychopath. I don't know, there's a lot of layers.
Layers! Onions have layers. Ogres have layers. Onions have layers. You get it. We both have layers.
To this story. And she's got her own traumatized past that we learn about, and it all comes together to the climax. And yeah, it's a wonderful book. Wonderful. And fun fact that I discovered, title and the author's name, Glow in the Dark. Okay, I'm gonna hold it up a little bit closer. You can't tell, like, you would have never, well, at least I did not guess that glowed in the dark. Glue in the dark can't be right. Comment below and tell me if it's glowed in the dark, because that sounds wrong, but it can't be glue in the dark. That's weird. Anyways, it glows in the dark. You need it on your bookshelf, okay? Yes, so that was the second book I read. It was, like I said, perfection. I highly, 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 highly recommend it. And those were the two books I read in May. Home Before Dark by Riley Sager and Victorian Psycho by Virginia Fato. Highly recommend. Please go pick them up. And yeah, let's move on to life. As I keep saying, as you all know, like, you for sure watch every single one of my videos and know everything about my life. So you might not know, I went on my cabin girls trip and writing retreat in May. So I'm not going to go to a deep dive about that. If you are interested in seeing about that trip, you can watch my vlog that I posted last week. I will also link that in the description below. I hope you enjoy it. That video took me a very long time to edit. I am new to this whole video editing thing. So yeah, I would really appreciate it if you went and watched it, if you're interested in the cabin trip. If you're not, totally understand. Don't worry about it. I am trying to see what else I did in May, so excuse me while I look at my photo dump that I put on Instagram, because I basically wrapped up everything that I did in May. So we're gonna refer to that. Okay, yes. So one of the first things I did in May was go see Sinners again. Yeah. So I saw it twice in May. I'm just gonna blurt it out. I saw it once by myself and I saw it once with one of my friends. Yes, so that was time 3 and 4, because I saw it twice in April. I'm not gonna go on about Sinners. You guys are probably tired of hearing me talk about it. Anyways, phenomenal movie. Hands down my favorite of all time thus far. So go see Sinners. Okay. The next thing I did in May was go to a winery with my brother, my sister, and my dad. My dad's birthday is in early May, and there's a winery not far from my house that has a really, really good orange wine, and he's been wanting to go. So I talked to my siblings. We talked with him and asked if that's what he wanted to do. He said yes. So my sister picked him up from his house and drove to my house, and then I drove to the winery. That's a lot of detail that you probably don't want or need, but I shared it anyways. And we got there and it's great. I've been to that winery a few times. It is called Cloudland Winery in Beaufort, Georgia. And if you like chickens and roosters, they have some that roam the property. Everyone else there loves them. I am afraid of birds. So, I mean, they're not terrible. After a couple glasses of wine, I didn't care that they were there at all. But yes, after that, we went and got some tacos and chilled, and that was my dad's birthday celebration. It was a blast. Okay, the next biggest thing I did was the cabin trip with 2 of my best friends. We had been planning it for a while, and we had an absolute blast. I definitely cannot wait to go back. And I talked about it in the cabin vlog, but I'll mention it here. That cabin inspired the setting for Project Marbles, and I went up for a writing retreat back in November by myself to try to wrap up draft 1 before I went into surgery. And I didn't quite finish draft 1 on that trip, but I got a lot of words written. And so to go back and work on draft 4 was really special. And to be in 2 different seasons, I went the first time, like I said, in November. So it was fall, winter, and this was like a spring, summer trip. So it was fun. I loved it. I went there a lot as a kid. So being able to go as an adult is a totally different experience, and I cannot wait to go back. So actually before that was Mother's Day. So I went and visited my mom and we just hung out. I filled out this really cool book. I'll have to see if I can find who wrote it, and if I do, I will add it to the screen. If I don't, I'm so sorry, but it's this like pre-made book that says, "Mom, I wrote a book about you," and then it has different prompts within it that you can fill out, and she really liked that book, so that was really nice. And we spent some time together, just the 2 of us, and then my brother showed up after work, and I mean, we just spent time with her. It was fun. We went to the grocery store, which brought back memories of going to the grocery store with her when I was younger. And I asked her about what she wanted to do, and she was like, "Yeah, I need to go. I have to make some dip for work tomorrow, so we're going, and you're going with me." And I was like, "Yes, whatever you want." So then we went and visited my aunt, who lives not far from my mom, and her new house, which is really cool. And she's got a bunch of birds at her house. I knew she had chickens, but she has these other birds that I don't know what they are, but they're interesting. Yeah, they're definitely some interesting birds. After that, we went back to my mom's house, and her husband cooked some dinner, and we had burgers and chit-chatted. My grandmother, my mom's mom, came over as well, and we played a game, Quirkle. I don't know if anyone has ever played that game, but it's pretty fun. After that, I went home. My mom needed to get to bed. Mother's Day, as you all are aware, is on a Sunday. Most people have to work on Mondays. I'm off on Mondays. So I drove home, and I think I just stayed up and chilled before I went to bed. After the cabin trip, I think it was immediately the week after, I went to a book signing for Lucy Foley's paperback release of The Midnight Feast. My book club actually read the book back in December. It was our December book pick when the hardcover released, and when I saw she was coming for a book signing in Atlanta, I said yes. I think in the last year, Atlanta has become a pretty popular spot for authors to stop on their tour. It hasn't always been that way. And so I'm like, yeah, give me a ticket, give me a ticket, give me a ticket. I'm going. Okay. And she came from across the pond. So of course I'm going to go see her. I've read all of her thriller books, and I absolutely adore Lucy Foley. So I went to the book signing. I left work a little bit early, drove there, and it was at the end of the day, so there was quite a bit of traffic. So when I showed up and saw that they had wine and beer, I said, "Yes, please. Give me a glass of red wine." And I sat down and enjoyed it. And when she came in with her interviewer, Karen White, who's also an author, they were right next to me. I tried to get a picture. No, I will never show that picture to anyone because I'm a girl's girl. No. So anyways, they got on stage. I could not get good pictures of them on stage because the lighting from where I was sitting was not great. I sat in the back because I had a feeling the signing was going to be in the lobby, and then that way when it was time I could be close to front of line. because I needed to get back home. I had work the next day. So I stood in line. I was not first, but I was very, very close to the front. And I got up there and talked to Lucy Foley. She is a gem. She is so sweet and so nice and very personable. And of course, the British accent doesn't hurt. We got to talking about tattoos. She told me she loved mine, which, thank you. And that she wants some tattoos, and I told her to just do it. I was like, just get the tattoos and then you're gonna be obsessed and you'll end up like me. I ended up telling that story on Instagram, and she responded back and said that I just about convinced her. So if someone else sees her again, just tell her to get the tattoo. Okay? She just needs one more little push. After we got done talking about tattoos, I asked her to sign my book club sweatshirt. I brought that first to the Grady Hendrix signing in February. I also have a vlog about that, which I will also link in the description below. And yeah, so I have Grady Hendrix, and now I have Lisa Jewell and Karen White signed it as well. And then I was gonna take it to the Riley Sager signing because he's also coming to Atlanta, but he is not signing anything besides the book that you purchase to attend the event is going to be pre-signed. So he's not going to sign my sweatshirt, which is pretty sad. But I have another author that I might go see in August, and I will be very excited for her to sign it. So we'll see if that happens. Eventually, once I get all these signatures, I have a plan and I will share it later. After the book signing, the next thing I did for the month of May, let's see, I want to make sure this is the last thing so I can stop looking at my phone. Okay, no, I did a couple more things. So the second to last thing I did, go to an influencer event in Helen with my best friend. Her blog is Eat Shop Do ATL, and I will tag her in the description below. Also, I will put her handle here. She is more active on Instagram and TikTok, but she is thinking about doing YouTube shorts. And so I am trying to convince her to come on over to YouTube. Do it. So yeah, if you are on those other platforms and you want to check her out, if you live in the area, she's really good about sharing places to eat, things to do, and places to shop in Atlanta. So anyways, she got tickets for this cosplay event in Helen at this castle. I can't remember the name of it, and I probably would not be able to pronounce it because I think it starts with like EUH. So yeah, it was the castle in Helen, and it had fairies, other mythical creatures, a dragon, and it was just essentially like an immersive experience. You go enjoy this show and they kind of explain what's going on there. Walk around, there's a bar, there's food. It's the medieval times. And so yeah, it was pretty fun. There was some rock people there, and I got a rock. The rock people came up to me and gave me their rock. So also got to talk to the dragon keeper, who ended up being a part of the performance at the end, and she is a fire breather. I don't know the correct term, but she like swallowed fire. Okay, and she did a hula hoop with fire. I don't know, she's really cool. And then there was these two twins that came out and performed with her as well, who also do the same thing. They were gorgeous. It was great performance. They had a medieval rock band that played, an orchestra. We got drinks, we got to see the dragon, and then there was this really creepy jester, like court jester, I think he was, that snuck up behind me. I was preparing for a cute picture and I don't know, I just got this sense that something was behind me, and I turned around and he was right in my face. And so I yelled to Elena because she was taking pictures and videos, and she did get it on video. I screamed and he was funny, and then he came back and messed with us a couple of more times. So yeah, it was fun and it was very on brand for me. On the way in, there were some vendors. There was a woman who was selling journals, and I, of course, found one that I had to have. There was a couple that I had to have, but I could only get one, and so I purchased it, and I will show that here in a second. And yeah, we had a good time, and going to Helen was a blast. Actually, before the castle part of the day, we went to the Sweet Acre Farms tasting room and each got a wine tasting and had a blast there as well. And then I purchased a bottle from them, which they have a very sad story. Their winery burned down, and so now they have the tasting room and have a couple of bottles left from their winery because everything burned down, but they are also selling wines and doing tastings of wines from other Georgia vineyards. So that Sweet Acre tasting room, I would go check them out. The woman that was there was very sweet, and she took some cute pictures of me and Elena, so definitely go see her. The last activity I did in May was meet up with my writing group. We went to our spot that we go to every month, which is Costa Coffee in Brookhaven, and I typically get the blue lavender matcha, which I discovered is not technically matcha, and it has no caffeine in it, so I was like, not getting that. And they actually had a matcha with like a lavender cold foam, so that's what I ended up getting this time, and it was delicious. So that's probably going to be my new go-to. So this writing session, I was actually working on editing last week's vlog, the cabin vlog, and my two writing partners were working on their projects. One is drafting her, I want to say, first romance. She finished writing a romantasy and is gonna do some work on that. Started drafting a romance in the meantime until she's ready to go back to her romantasy. My other friend is working on a domestic thriller, and I am actually beta reading for her. I read the first part earlier this year, and she is working on the second part to where she's ready to send it to betas, and I think she's gonna send it to me. By the time this is live, she may have already sent it to me, but I was waiting for it in May, and that's what she was working on at the coffee shop. So that meeting was a little bittersweet because it could be the last time all three of us are meeting together in person for a very long time. One of the girls may get a job out of state in North Carolina, which is not super far from Georgia, but it's still not here. Like, we're not gonna be able to meet every month, at least not in person. We may do some virtual sessions. So that was a little sad. We'll see if we make it to June. So that is all I did in May. That covers writing, reading, and life, but I wanted to tack on a little fun element to this month's monthly matcha and do a haul of all the things I got LJ during the cabin trip and the influencer event in Helen. It was called Mirth and Mischief, so you can check them out. I'm not sure how long they're gonna be in Atlanta and if they're traveling somewhere else afterwards. But anyways, we're gonna do a little haul and that'll wrap up this video. Okay, so the first thing I bought in LJ was this apple wine. It's called Eva, and this was from Buckley. It's one that I had in my tasting. They have 2 apple wines, and I want to say I got this one in my tasting, and then Elena got the other one in hers, so I like took a sip of hers because I knew I wanted to bring an apple wine home. And yeah, this is the one I decided to go with. The next things I got on the cabin trip were actually some books. We went to Hemlock Bazaar. I think I called it Hemlock's Bazaar in the cabin vlog. There's no Hemlock does not own the bazaar. There's no apostrophe S. It's just Hemlock Bazaar. It is a bookstore and record shop that sells certain type of coffee. And then of course they have matcha, which is what I got so I ended up getting 2 books there. The first one is The Fall of the House of Usher by Edgar Allan Poe. I love Edgar Allan Poe. I actually have not read this book, and it was only $5.95, so I was like, yes, give it to me. So yeah, I'm excited to dive into this one at some point. The second book I got, I was convinced to buy by Elena and Melissa. I wasn't sure about it because of the price, and I knew I had other things I wanted to buy, but they were like, yes, look at the cover, you need to get it, and you are very excited about it. And that book is this one. Yeah, so I was a little bit unsure because it was $25 and just a little over 200 pages. But as I talked about in the reading section, it was totally worth it. So I'm going to be Elena and Melissa, and I'm going to tell you to buy the book if you are debating. It was worth it. It was good. We're not going to get back into it again. Yeah, these are the 2 books I got at Hemlock Bazaar, and I took a lot of cute fun pictures with my new babies. Yeah, so that was my second purchase of the cabin trip. My last purchase of the cabin trip was from House of Applejay Distillery, and I got their apple liqueur. We did a liqueur tasting and got to taste their vodka as well. I talked about it a little bit in the cabin vlog, but this distillery is woman owned. It's a mother and daughter duo. They are from Germany, and they were a pleasure. I loved both of them. And during the liquor tasting, I had tried the apple one. It was delicious. I liked this, and they had a gin liqueur, or maybe it's a juniper liqueur. One was also one of my favorites, but I was convinced to get this because the daughter who was doing our tasting had said that she had the, I want to say the cherry one, and put it in a red wine with some ice over the summer, and that it was a really good, delicious like wine cocktail. And I had already bought the apple wine from Buckley, so I thought that the apple liqueur with the apple wine might do the same kind of thing. And we were in LJ, which is known for its apples, so of course I had to get this one. Also, my last name is Appleby. I mean, it fits, right? So also at the distillery, I got this liqueur glass, which I did not know that they made liqueur glasses, and all of my friends know that I am obsessed with glasses and drinking cocktails out of the correct glass. I also did not know that people sip on liqueur. I learned a lot. So yes, I got this liqueur glass to go with my apple liqueur whenever I decide to open it. It's very odd Me and Elena are both like this. When we get stuff that we might not be able to get that often, even if it's things that you consume, it's hard to open it because we want to just keep it. But then, like, why did I buy it if I'm not gonna consume it? So I will get there at some point, and I have to because I got this glass. So yeah, that was it from the cabin trip. Now for Helen, the wine that I got from the Sweet Acre tasting room was actually a Merlot, and it comes from the Three Strands winery, which is based out of Dallas, Georgia, which is very close to where both of my parents live. And I go to winery with them, Qualusi Vineyard, quite frequently when I go that way to visit them. And I had no clue that there was another winery so close, and this was the best out of my tasting. That's why I purchased it. So I definitely need to go check this out. But yeah. A red wine. I'm a red wine girly when it comes to wine. The drier, the better. Love it. After the winery, like I said, we went up to the castle and I got that journal, and it is in here. I mean, she is gorgeous. I thought the like red splatter was just perfect being a horror writer, but yeah, these journals are handmade. So she cut the leather, painted it. It's got like this scalloping thing on both sides, and some of her journals are refillable. This one is not, but she has like these notebooks. You can see all the different spines, and the refillable ones that she has, you can tie them with like this elastic thing. If I see her at another event, I will probably buy another one and I can show you then. And her name is on here somewhere too. But yeah, so here's the leather. And yes, this one is a lined notebook, which is perfect for me. So I was like, I think I'm gonna draft my next story in here. So yeah, those are all sewn in, but the other ones she has are elastic and you can just snip it and put some new ones in. She said the back had her name, but I cannot find it. And her Zelle was like just her name, not her business name. So I don't want to put that on here because I don't know if she wants that. If I discover who she was, I might be able to get Elena to find out through the event coordinator who the vendors were, and I can share that later. But yes, so this is the journal I bought. I can't wait to start outlining in this. Okay, so I had also put in this bag and didn't realize it. Here is the rock that the rock people gave me. Yeah, he just like placed it in my hand, and I think it is good luck. So it's gonna go with my crystals I have in my bedroom. So, and then this was the light up necklace from the Mirth and Mischief that you wore. And if you were willing to have the actors like interact with you, you would light it up green. And then if you didn't want them to look at you and you just wanted to be a viewer, then you took it off. So I definitely had this on when that court jester came up behind me, and I guess with my screaming and happy reaction along with this was why he kept coming back. So because Elena was there for an influencer event and we were VIP, we did get a swag bag, and I'm gonna open it with you here. And I actually have not looked inside of this bag, so I am gonna be just as surprised as you while we go through what's inside of it. Okay, so we got this tote bag, Mirth and Mischief on there. I have a ton of bags, but you can never have too many, right? This is great for a writing session. Okay, so there's a few things in here. This, I am pretty sure, is a coffee cup. Yes, it is a Mirth and Mischief coffee cup. I always love a good mug. Okay, and this is something. Another notebook. Okay, so this is kind of like a sketchbook. And I am a doodler, so this is great. I can take this to work, because sometimes I just need like 5 minutes of a break and I doodle little things. They actually got me my desk calendar, black and white with designs, so that I can color for a little break sometimes. So yeah, this will be helpful. And I could also see myself drafting in here and then having little doodles while I draft. So I think there's one more thing in this bag. Yep. Okay, so the last thing, oh cute. Okay, so it is a frame and it has the Mirth and Mischief logo on it. Okay, I'm not gonna take this out of the styrofoam because the glass is loose, but yeah, just the Mirth and Mischief logo and this cute little frame. So me and Elena did get some pictures together. I could put that in there. I can also put some of myself because I got some cute ones in front of the castle. Or get a still of the video of the jester scaring me and I can put it in my office. Okay, so that is my haul of the fun things that I got during the month of May on my trips and events. And yeah, I am gonna wrap it up here. Thank you so much for joining me, for being here. Thank you for visiting my channel. If you liked this video, give it a thumbs up. If you like my content, go hit that subscribe button. I would love to have you here. I try to upload a video once a week, at least that's the plan. Sometimes it's a little bit longer, but you are gonna get something. I'm not gonna leave you hanging for too long, and you're at least gonna get a monthly matcha because I have to share with you guys updates on writing, reading, and life. So again, thank you, and oh, hello. He's back. I will catch you next week for another video. Cheers.